Yes, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, whatever time of the day it is, wherever you are listening to us, watching us on Dread and the Shabin. My name is Delroy Nesta. I am the Dread, and alongside me this afternoon we have my co-host.
TK John Baptiste is Shabin.
Right, so this is Dread and the Shabin, and it is a podcast for those who want to be informed, inspired, and positively impacted. Today, well, normally it's just the two of us, but we are joined by someone special this afternoon, a journalist, a calypsonian, a dancehall and boyo artist, and also a business owner, Miss Khadija Menaville. Good afternoon, Miss Menaville.
Hi, good afternoon.
Or should we call you Cardi for short? Just Cardi this
Just
afternoon.
call me Kadi.
All right, so Cardi it is this afternoon, and we want to thank you for joining us, and welcome to Jordan and Shavin.
It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for inviting me.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You know why you're here this afternoon or this
Well,
morning, this evening?
from my understanding, we're going to speak about public harassment. Sorry,
You
street.
know, well, I invited you because you were sexy shabby. Sorry, sexy features. I wanted your number, so yeah, that's why. That's why.
Okay, thanks for the compliment. I appreciate that.
You're welcome, and send the number in the chat, okay?
Okay.
All right, cool, cool, cool. And of course, I'm always glad to have you. And like you were saying, our topic is street harassment, and that was my kind of way of delving into it. Although it's online, but still it's a form of harassment nonetheless. So we will get into the topic. I know as women, most likely you've had somebody in the streets ask you for maybe your name, your number, ask you, hey, Shabby, do you have a man, or I can be a man, Shabby, or something like that. That happens often in Dominica, and we don't really pay much attention to it, but I know it can be troubling for women, so that's why we are discussing it this afternoon. Kali, I don't know if you have had any experience. Well, I know you've had. I mean, I don't know if you want to speak up any experience you've had recently or in the past where you got harassed in the streets.
Yes, like I would find it so baffling that it really doesn't it's not really the problem is not the harassment per se, but is the response after your response.
Ah,
It's
okay, I get you. So you don't
like
mind you don't mind being approached.
yeah, like it's okay, fine. But I mean sometimes it can be very annoying.
Right,
But
right.
most times the response after, that is what really irks us the most, because you had so much energy, you were so interested, and then after I told you that I'm not, or I ignored you, all of a sudden all the negative things you can think about. So it's really crazy how people can get so emotional because of quote unquote rejection.
A shut
Yeah.
down. Yeah.
Mm.
But I have never experienced that, so I don't really know what to say because people don't
So
really approach men like that anyway. But
yeah.
in terms of, that's why I'm leaning to the women this afternoon to really lead this discussion, and I will just chime in where I can. You understand? So, but I want to apologize on the behalf of men, Dominican men. I know it won't stop, it won't stop. I'm hoping that this episode can result to awareness, some enlightenment as
Yeah.
well. Let us
Mm.
understand what our women feel and how we can maybe assist them in dealing with the issue as men.
I mean, I think the reality is that, for some men, especially if maybe they, didn't have a male figure in their life to show example of how to, approach women, treat women also, they might just go off of their own vibe and whatnot. And I understand that, but to be honest, I deal with that on a daily basis, and I kind of numb to it now.
Uh,
It's just more of the situation where, like, for example, like if you see I have to wear short pants, I don't really like to wear short pants and then walk in tongue because it even worse. You know what I mean? But it's like the harassment is like a everyday thing. It's just it might not be as, some days might be worse than others. So sometimes it's simple things, just like them, like, hey Shabin, you looking nice today, or hey Shabin, smile and thing. They like to tell you to smile and thing. They like to open conversation and tell you, your face looking two way and so on. To put a smile on your face and think. But I mean, be realistic. The sun hot and thing. I walk in there. What I have a smile on my face for?
Probably you have a
Like,
heavy load carrying to or something.
and that is burn me. Sometimes they see you walking in the heavy load. They don't saying, "Hey, let me help you carry the load to the bus stop." They more telling you, "Hey, Shabin, you they're walking and thing and." They don't offering you help. They more trying and give you chat.
But you
And
think
it,
it's because that's the only way they know how to approach women?
I don't think that's I mean, I guess it's according to the man as well. Like, because most of
Uh,
the times the men that calling you on the side of the road is, older guys that, maybe living by themselves in the bush somewhere.
in
Or,
the bush.
you know,
In
the,
the middle of the over
them, them,
here.
the ghetto men that is normally be by pull up on the block and so on. It's
Uh,
like them kind of men, or, those you just find in the rum shop every day.
mm,
It's mostly those types you just see, like, calling and try and give you chat. And to what Khadija was saying in terms of like
mm.
when you see you do answer some of them, and then they want to be telling you, "Oh well, hold your mouth, whatever." And thing. I'm like, "What, my brother? You
It's a
learn how
kind
to
of
take
program. So if you
yeah,
want to express yourself through expletives, you
right, like learn
feel
how to
free.
take
Yeah.
rejection, my brother." It's one thing for as a man, you're making break, and it's another thing if you cannot take shame. To me, even worse if you cannot take shame,
But to me,
because like
shame or rejection should come with the environment as a man. If you approach a
yeah,
woman, you should be prepared in your mind and in yourself to be
yeah.
rejected. Because not every woman you meet is going to tell you yes or I'm going to accept your approach. So I just think the confidence level of these men are so high that they cannot even fathom a woman telling them no. And they mean to
Yeah, I
tell them
feel like
no.
I feel like they're strong too, because as a man, I feel like you really have to be up there, because most of the times you are the one who have to approach the woman and try and talk to the woman, and so I feel like for men it definitely a bit tougher, and I have a bit more respect for them in terms of like just having to approach women constantly and like getting some form of rejection at least daily, even if it's probably one that show back interest, but like just the fact that they have to be dealing with that on a daily basis is like I kind of give them respect for that, but at the same time it have a better way to approach women than how some of them doing it. But
Khadija,
at
would
the end
you? Go ahead, go ahead. Go ahead.
at the end of the day, it also depends on if the woman even attracted to you, because it's definitely a situation where like if it's an attractive man that doing it, we receive it better versus than if he's not an attractive man. That's for sure.
That's true. There's a level of when his attraction is there, then the tolerance is. But sometimes you find even when there is no attraction, men just decide they want to tell the woman something. They're not really interested. The woman is passing. They're on the side of the road. Maybe they're with their group of boys, and so they just decide, let me show my boys I can approach a woman or something like that. Khadija, you ever had any experience where it wasn't just one individual, but a group of men or a group of partners on the road that approach you and
my
it felt in any way?
boy, my most
You can speak, man. Yeah.
my most memorable was I had an encounter when I was working at Clay Harbor mapping building, where I was going to get dinner, and a group of, I think during that time was Creole Festival time or whatever. So there were a lot
Oh,
of that
okay.
foreigners around.
Okay.
So there was this a group of Jamaican guys on the side by Crispy's area. So I was just walking, checking my seat, minding my business. All of a sudden I'm hearing I want to laugh.
You
Easy
can,
way, easy.
I don't. Sorry for laughing. It's a serious matter. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Um girl, your body big or something like that. Girl in the big body and whatever.
Uh,
Just say, girl in the big body. I'm like, boy.
did you
Imagine
respond? Did you respond though?
I was a little no, I was a little embarrassed, but at the same time I was still like I don't know what to say. I didn't see it coming. I was not
Uh,
expecting. I was just minding my business. I looked, I did how many double takes to see who they were speaking to, and I was the only person crossing the road. So I was like, Lord have mercy.
Did you add some extra to your work when you heard that, or did you I don't know. I just want to know what your reaction was to them towards them.
um, I
Do
just
you
ignored.
remember? You just
I
ignored?
ignored. I don't
Uh,
think I could have said anything. I ignored it. I didn't want to draw too much attention to myself, and they're foreigners, so I was a little bit more hesitant.
okay.
So, but it catch me off guard. But I ignored it. Thankfully they didn't take offense. I think if it were locals, they would take more offense.
Okay. True, true. I
But
think so too.
I've had situations with locals where I get insulted if I don't answer. If I pass, probably I'm on my phone, so I don't even hear when they call me.
Uh-huh.
Words like I don't even know what you're talking about. Like all of a sudden, the attitude just changed because I ignored or I didn't realize they called me.
Do you think if it was if the shoe was on the other foot, if it was women approaching men like that, there would be an outcry or some sort of just asking.
There'll be no
No?
problem. I have approached a man before.
And what was
Yeah.
the experience like? Did he welcome the approach?
He was blushing a lot, but he had a girlfriend. So he
Okay, okay. So what did you say? Sexy shabe?
Eh.
Rasta.
Oh, it's a rasta. Okay. Let me fix myself then.
I feel like with men because like it have some TikTokers, two women that just go around basically hitting on men the same way they just hit on women.
Uh,
And you just always see them man like blushing and smiling and laughing away. They doesn't take it no way. I feel like if we do it, they're more happy about it than the other way around. So I feel like at the same time it have some man that have like a little bit more value and so on.
right.
But I feel like for the most part they would like it.
Well, if a woman approaches me like that to me, half of my work is already done. I'll be more than happy because
Right.
once like you say there's an attraction there or there's an understanding there, I'll be more than happy. Like yeah, she likes me, I can make her to continue making my break. I have a
Yeah.
chance as a man. I say I have a chance there. Yeah.
Yeah, and at the same time, women don't really have to do much in terms of like approaching a guy to show like we're interested. Sometimes if like both of us in a bar, you just have to really like make contact, like show him you're making eye contact with him,
Right.
and eventually you pick up and you say, okay, maybe she digging senior or whatever, and then he'll just come to you. Sometimes you don't even have to go to him.
You have it easy.
You know, you ever tried jokingly giving into the advances? Like for example, I remember a certain situation where I was on my porch, on my front porch doing laundry, and a man was passing saying, I come and help you, eh? So that was actually this morning. I come and help you, eh? So I was like, okay, wait, see, no sin. Okay, I go and change my clothes. Okay. He never come back. He never
Because you're not expecting you to say yes.
all that too. So they don't want to know, they don't want to yes. What do they want?
That's a kind flirt. Just flirt back a little. Let us feel special for a little minute and then we continue on our way.
Yeah,
Sometimes there's no interest there, it's just the fact that hey, you see a nice woman, so you want to say something. And
yeah,
then once you say what you say, and the moment has come and gone, and so that make your day. So because you make the man day this morning.
yeah. But
But
at the same time, I feel like you have to know who you're doing that with, because you have some man. At first, you might tell them you're not interested, but it's like as soon as you give them a little inch, you give them
they
a
want some
little mile, then they keep on coming back, thinking you're suddenly interested. No, my brother, I just being kind to you. I just being
But
a good citizen and so on. But it's like they're taking it and they're running with it.
that's where street harassment can lead to further things like stalking. When
Yeah,
men take it, or when a person takes it a little further than it should be. So that's why you have to be very careful at times to how you or what energy you give off to the person. And stalking, even if sometimes it's a rejection and they still stalk you, so it's all in the mindset of the person who's doing the harassment as well. But
yeah.
but
yes, Kadi?
We stuck on the sexual part, I think, but we didn't touch on like when you speak about asking for money and asking your name and all of those things.
Well, yes, I know. In terms of that part is mainly men who get approached for money and for top up and those kind. And I don't think I've ever heard of a man approach a woman and asking the woman for money or top up. You've
No,
heard of
but that situation where it's definitely more women that doing that these days. And honestly, I don't know where they getting the guts to like
that? You
you
call it
just start.
guts,
I mean, it's
To
not
go,
really on the street. It's not really on the street though. In the
right?
context, it's like you just start talking to the guy and you don't telling him about your light bill and your phone bill or whatever bill and asking the man for money. I was like, that's kind of wild.
But
some women are
I had a
more comfortable.
co-worker and she was famous for that. Yeah, the minute she met a man, next day or sometimes the same day, she had a bill to pay or she want lunch or she want, yeah, and she used to show us the messages. She would take the numbers and everything, and she would next day show us. I'm going to ask that one for lunch. I'm going to ask that one for lunch. She would be successful, and I was wonder
Some
why this,
skilled
huh?
at that. Some women actually skilled at that. Like they, well, I don't
Yeah,
know. They would like
she
that
was
is
a
how they. That
she
is
was a
how they live.
professional athlete. She said she doesn't pay much of her bills. It's usually men paying her bills, and it's usually men that she just meets that she flirting with, and next day ask them for 20 or this or that. She always shut up some money, and then before you see it, somebody coming up to and bringing the money for her, and she'll leave
What,
for a while successfully like that. I saw it firsthand.
No,
what
but
a time.
listen to me. Listen to me. Men that doing that, they're
Yeah.
good to it because you can't mean to tell me you as a hardworking man, you taking your long dollars you work hard for and just give it to a woman just like that.
So when
So
you
those
just meet to a woman you just meet,
exactly.
yeah,
So those men don't have priorities. You don't have your right to maintain. You don't have your bills to pay and your groceries. I think you just give you one money like that.
In anticipation to get something in return.
I was going to say there's an expectation for something later on. They don't just give it just for giving it.
What they say
That
poverty knows no what they say poverty during poverty there is
Yeah.
no arms or basically you have no face. So
No
basically
face.
it's easier for a woman to do those things when things are hard, especially at a time like now. At a time like now, it will have a lot of those things happening.
But
And then you
I
the
understand
rich
why
and
they
not
ask,
those-
I understand why they ask because asking is not nothing wrong in asking, but I just
yeah.
figure get not the next day or the same day. That's a little time.
yeah. Like talk to
Yeah.
the man for
Just a
talk
little bit
to him
more.
for a few weeks or
Yeah. Just a little more. Get to know the person a little better. Let a week pass. But the
Yes.
next hour, the next day, nah, I find that is stretching it a little bit.
Like a business arrangement.
Yeah,
yeah.
arrangement. Yeah.
I doesn't even like to ask my mother for money much as for a man I just meet. That's
Like
insane.
Well, the money the money you just might more give it to you than your mother. Or quicker give it to you, as you say, not more give it to you. Quicker give it to you.
Hey, that's
Because
true.
we're trying to
that's
impress. We're trying to show that,
Yeah.
and that is the thing. And some women understand that. So they prey on that aspect of manhood because the man will always try to impress. And
yes.
it's
So
very, not hard, not difficult. No, it's very, how I say it now. You see, to see you approach a woman and she's a pretty woman and then she requests something from you, something, and sometimes they don't go big at first, It's always a 20, a top up, a $10 top up, or something small, and you can't even provide that. In the eyes of the woman, there's nothing further. The conversation ends from there. And as a man, you want to continue the conversation. You want to get to, so you will always come, quote unquote, comes up with the money or with whatever she's requesting because it's something little, and then once you give somebody an inch, eventually you take a foot, you take a mile. So it's just $65 up or $10 up, and then you find yourself paying the light bill, the dumb like the Wasco bill, or even the student loan. It
Your
happens.
rent.
Yeah, a rent. It happens. It happens.
boy.
But
And sometimes
I've never found myself in that situation. And to be like, honest, I mean, I probably have given women money, but not to the far reaches of the world, like bills and loan and rent. Nah. So nobody harasses me. I don't know. I don't. I mean, they're not pleasant looking. I don't know. Women are continue. Please continue. Don't harass me.
they be saying you don't have money.
It's all that too. It's all that, right? And I don't have money. To be honest, I don't have money. It's a confessional. Yeah.
I feel like the
They be
women know who they just be asking though. They just, based on what they know about the guy, they will say, okay, he maybe have his money, so let me ask him.
I think there's a skill behind it for sure. You can hire a man up and down, and then basically tell if you have money or not, or if you have available money. Sometimes you dress in rich and you don't have no money in your pocket, but sometimes,
but you have men that doing that exact same thing, you know.
yes, it's not one sided,
All of a sudden, by next week, boy, baby, imagine the boy. I need a little 20, a little 30 to put it. Hey, I've been through that. I
To put gas. I, I
boy,
want
Hey,
I want to come and check you, but I need a little 20 to put
a
gas.
little,
Yeah.
to put it, a little
hey.
It
for their
Yeah,
happened.
mobile
man.
problem.
That's someone that's so wicked. They ask you for the 20, and then when you watch it to give another woman.
Oh, that is those experts. That
Holy curve.
is those experts. Yeah, to be honest.
I
But that
don't know.
But do you think
that
that the situation is how I say it now? Um because harassment by law is a crime, But I've never heard of anybody being criminalized or being charged for that. Do you think it will reach that point ever in our society where the
Of
police
course.
takes it to that level? You think
I
it will reach
sure,
that
I
level?
sure probably, I sure people probably, women probably complain about whatever, but
Yes, I
maybe
know
the
the
police they
complaints.
just shrug it off.
I know of the complaints, but I've never heard of the police actually going further and charging anybody with street
Yeah,
harassment or anything. Would you,
because maybe they're saying you have to show, well, the man, maybe you have to show some kind of evidence or whatever to say, okay, the man maybe break into your house or people some kind of thing to know that he's stalking you. I don't know what is the requirement or
these days
whatever.
with cell phones, anything is possible. With cell phones, you can record that man harassing you or something. So, but I still don't think our society ready to take that one up as a crime, quote unquote crime.
Yeah, because I said to myself, when we talk about street harassment in terms of like men and so on, how do you really combat that? Because even if like you probably arrest some men or whatever, I really think the issue lies in, like how the man raise up and how we know to treat women and that kind of thing. So
But then
there's
I have
some,
a
Yes.
question. But is that harassment though? Is asking for something or a favor? Is that harassment? I mean, if the
No,
person is continuously asking when you keep on saying no,
the
Mhm.
harassment comes when it's continuous, or
it,
that yeah. So you have to that maybe that's why it's difficult to prove because you have to show that the man is
Yeah.
continuously approaching
Mhm.
you, or the woman is continuously approaching you, and you've been rejecting and they still carry on. I think that is maybe where the difficulty is in actually charging somebody with harassment or
Yeah, I
especially
haven't really heard of a situation to say like we hear a man was stalking a woman for how long and then you know, I haven't really heard that really.
well, I don't think we really have much stalking going on here though.
Yeah.
no. But
It's
I've
too
heard of
small for
cases, I've heard of cases, but I've never heard of charges being brought about. I've seen issues on people spreading people's photos on Facebook and saying this man did this and that and that and that. And that.
yes.
Particularly, I remember this guy from Salisbury was very short guy from Salisbury. His photo was circulating about him harassing women all over the place and sending them photos, but I've never heard of him being arrested or anything like that. So, but yes, I'm hoping that as time goes by, as we raise more awareness of the problem of the issue, that more persons speak out, The reason why we did this show is actually is to raise awareness, and our guest Kali brought in a nice perspective as a journal as a former journalist, a current journalist. I know you. I know to share with you. But yeah,
Currently
but,
not in media. Currently not in
okay.
media, but I right.
But you still do writing, right? Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, we can still call you journalist. So she brought in a nice perspective, and we I really enjoyed the discussion. Um, well, one of my key takeaways from today, if I may add, is the fact that it all depends on if the woman is attracted to the man. So if maybe the reason why most people don't take men because are ugly, so I'll keep that in mind. Yeah, and I don't know if Vicky, if you have anything that you want to as we summarize that, if you want to add.
What I would say is that, even though we may not have like necessarily like a solution to the problem right now, I think like, maybe some people will watch the episode, and after the episode they might submit their story to DBN or something like that, and kind of probably spread more awareness of what situations they're dealing with personally, share their stories and
And
whatnot.
they can also share the stories with us. We're not
Yeah.
against it at all. If you have
They can
a
message us on
story,
Facebook and send us their
right,
stories.
and we will definitely post it for them. Kadi, anything you want to add before we wrap up?
Um, I think that's about. But we didn't really touch on the vagrant side though. I don't think
Oh
so.
yes. Well, we can give it a few minutes, because vagrancy and harassment is a big issue in Dominica. Like and we've
I
heard
think
of
I feel
yes,
like everybody know what should be done with the vagrants, and which is we need a rehab center, right? We need a place where people that struggling with drug addiction and whatnot, because a lot of young people coming up on the street now right now too. So
Yes,
we need a place where people can get
rehabilitation.
rehabilitated. Yes, and like get reintegrated into society and whatnot. And I believe a lot of young people in that situation right now because of our economic state. So all that have to take into consideration when we're looking at, okay, how do we get these vagrants off the street? And I've tried to talk to people at the psychiatric unit about a rehab center and whatnot, and they're saying our main issue is the personnel, the
human
people to
resource.
actually, right, the doctors, the psychiatrists, and so on, the people we actually need in the unit to basically do that sort of stuff. We don't have it. So yes, we probably have to get an investor to invest in, like, the building and setting up everything, but we also need the personnel, the people
Yeah, but
to.
I think that is sort of kind of a smoke screen though, because to me, if you build the center, you can open up employment to the rest of the Caribbean. It doesn't have to be Dominicans only being employed. We
Yeah,
are
that's
an OECS. We have free travel of
yes.
well, so I mean, let's
And
let's
that could
build
open, yeah,
let's
that could
build
open doors for for people that currently going at college and they study in psychology and whatnot.
right. Let's build it, and they will come. Not the vagrants, no, but the professionals. Yeah.
Yeah.
Carl, do you have anything to add in relation to the vagrancy and
Well, I agree with what TK was saying. We need to get some form of rehabilitation for vagrants. I find we have too many young persons on the streets, and it's almost as if every month or so we see a different one,
every week?
and
Every week. Yeah.
it's, it's
Because
becoming rampant. And the sad part about it is they're so familiar. They look so familiar.
right.
They're people that
Yeah.
some of us gone to school with, some of us have grown up with, raised with in our community, and now we are seeing them on the streets as derelicts, and it doesn't look good. I have this friend who went to the SME, and right now he's a vagrant. Just the other day,
Wow.
they were asking that he be killed, or something happens to him because of the way that he behaves. He's very harmful, he's dangerous. He causes bodily harm to a lot of people,
Okay.
you know, at certain times. And it's sad because that is not who I know him to be. But
Right,
he's
right,
this
right.
person, and
Yeah.
it's not his and us being who we are, we will always say like, you know what, time for them to get out, time to get rid of them. No matter what we do, just get rid of them. And whatever you have to do, just get rid of them. But we're not really thinking about that somebody's child, that somebody's
Yeah.
brother, somebody's friend. You know, he was once somebody like us, and he just wants to belong in its guidance, and he doesn't know how to get out of it.
A little bit of
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
humanity to go along with, man. A little bit of humanity.
Yeah, because one of there was a young one. I knew him from young. We went to church together and whatnot. He died not too. He died a few years back. The one where he jumped in the river during the what it was, a storm that was passing or something. I can't remember. He was driving um
somebody's.
I think,
Kenny
think
G vehicle or whoever
yeah,
vehicle,
you're
and then
right.
he ended up in the water.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah, I knew him, and when I see he was like, going mad and whatnot on the road, I was shocked to see him like that. But I realized it seems, he'd have a mental illness in his family. So I guess it was hereditary, and they say sometimes he was going by the psych ward to get his medication or whatnot, I guess. But I mean, if you cannot afford it, at the same time, if you cannot afford it to take the
Mhm.
medication regularly, all that is an issue as well.
As well, yes.
Yeah, so, and a young boy we just end up passing like that and whatnot, so it's really sad. Yeah,
And that one hit close to home because he's actually a
from Buffalo State.
family
Yeah.
member and a friend. Yeah. So yeah,
Mm.
I remember that very, very vividly, and gone too soon as but I think as a society we keep failing our young men and our young people who are falling on a side, and we need to find some safety nets to get them, yeah, to get them back reintegrated into society, to also assist them in not accessing the health care that they need, because sometimes you do the rehab and you do the but you also need to post rehab, you have to take your medication.
Right.
So many
Yeah.
people afford it, so that we need that we need to work on as a society, definitely. And if we do that, we will curb the issue of the extreme vagrancy we're seeing currently, and also the street harassment across the streets in Roseau and Portsmouth and wherever else.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Definitely.
So, Khadija, I want to thank you again for being here this afternoon. Any parting words for our audience, for viewing audience?
I just want to say that in terms of the topic that we discussed today, it's more of an issue of, I would say, circumstance. I
Hmm.
don't think it's something that can be controlled. I think it has to do with circumstance. Where you spoke about people, girls asking men for money and vice versa. We spoke about men having an approach and they're not satisfied with the response. I think it has to do with circumstance. People raise up a certain way,
Yeah,
or they have a mentality and they think that certain things are okay.
Hmm.
So I think if we just try to fix, I mean, it's too late now for this generation. So the
Yeah.
upcoming generation, if we just mold their mentality a little bit more, to let them know that certain things are not okay, and you know how to handle certain situations better, then we can
Yeah.
curb that issue.
right. Right. It's all about socialization for real. I agree. Any Shabby, anything you want to add before we close up?
I would just say, I think we had a good episode, talking about things I feel like a lot of people probably have the same opinions on, and it's really important to just have a platform where we kind of voice, at least the majority of the general public's opinion, to just put things out there, especially seeing that social media is such a powerful platform. A lot of people seem to be coming forward these days to give their stories and so on. So, I think this episode will resonate with a lot of people and probably spark some conversation.
Yeah,
Mhm.
so we do hope that today's episode will raise some conversations, whether or not they be comfortable or uncomfortable. We want people person to use their voice, particularly on social media. We want to hear from you. If you have any issue with the topic, whether it be vagrancy, whether it be the young men or the young women on the streets, Let us know. We are happy to hear from our viewers. And once again, if you hear any sound of my voice, that means you've been with us throughout the entire journey of today's episode. And we want to thank you for being with us. And thank you for being part and parcel of Joanna Shabby.
Yes, have a good night, a good
Have a
day,
good
a good
night,
night.
everyone. Good
Bye.
night. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.